When we estimate, it basically means making an educated guess. The word educated is important because it means that we're not just making a random guess. An educated guess is using clues or known facts to help you with your prediction or your guess. I've said the word educated a lot now, so let's move on. We can actually estimate calculations by using our rounding skills. So when we're rounding, 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds down, and 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9 rounds up. So this is quite a nice little image to try and remember. You could write this out yourselves if you wanted to. Rounding makes estimating easier because basically there are easier numbers to use when you round. More simple numbers make your calculations easier to complete when estimating. Super important to remember, estimates don't have to be exact. If you wanted the exact answer, then you wouldn't need to estimate. So why do we estimate? We could estimate when we want a rough idea of the answer, but we can also estimate to try and identify mistakes. Your estimate will tell you if your actual answer is correct or if it's quite far off. Basically, if your actual answer is far off from your estimate, it might be worth having another go. So, let's have a go at estimating using our rounding skills. Get yourself a pen or a pencil and we'll have a little go together. So in this question we're going to estimate, that's that word again, estimate 53 add 39. Now remember, when we estimate we're not looking for the exact answer necessarily, so we're going to round this number. Let's go to the nearest 10. So we've got the 5 there in the tens column, we look one place to the right, we've got a 3. We know the rule, 1, 2, 3, 4, round down. So this 53 becomes, that's right, it becomes 50. Now we're going to turn our attention to the 39. Again, we round to the nearest 10, so we've got our tens column, look one place to the right, we've got a 9. We know that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds up. So 39 becomes, that's right, it becomes 40. So now you've rounded 53 and 39, and you've got 50 add 40, which is a much more simple calculation. 50 add 40 equals, so our estimate answer is 90. The actual answer, if you were being exact, is 92. So you can see that our estimate isn't actually that far off. However, if your estimate was something like 212 and the actual answer was 92, you kind of know that you're quite far off, so you're best to do your calculations again. Have a go at this one yourselves. So estimate 78 add 22. So when you're estimating for this one, round to the nearest 10 again. Pause the video here now so that you can have a little go yourselves. So 78 rounded to the nearest 10 was 80, and 22 rounded to the nearest 10 was 20. 80 add 20 equals 100. Now the actual answer, if you did the exact calculation, is actually 100 in this case. But when we're rounding and when we're estimating, it doesn't have to be the exact answer. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. Now for this one, you'll notice that we've actually rounded to the nearest 100 rather than 10. If you're finding rounding a little bit tricky, it might be worth checking some of the other videos out to brush up on your rounding skills before doing these estimates. So 111 rounded to the nearest 100 is 100, and 187 rounded to the nearest 100 is actually 200. Now the reason that we've decided to round to the nearest 100 this time is because we're working with bigger numbers, 3-digit numbers that are actually in the hundreds. You could still round to the nearest 10 and that would be absolutely fine, but in this case I think it's easier to round to the nearest 100. So our estimated answer, 100 add 200, the estimated answer is 300. Now the actual answer when you work the exact answer out is 298. So you can see that our estimated answer is very, very close. It doesn't matter that it's wrong. When working out the exact answer, if the exact answer that we got was 495, for example, by looking at your estimate, you realise that this is probably wrong and it's worth having another go. You'll notice that all of the examples are addition questions, but with subtraction the same rounding rules apply when estimating. Now you're probably thinking, well, when is it okay for me to estimate? It's not actually appropriate to estimate all of the time. It would be a good idea to estimate when I'm doing my food shopping, because I can use my rounding skills and estimate the total that my food shop is going to come to. But it really wouldn't be appropriate to estimate the time that it took somebody to finish a race. I'm sure after all of that training they'd really like to know how long it took them to finish that race.